guys, you know, being a nerd is something I take pride in. I have felt like a nerd my whole life, and being a nerd has become a cool thing in recent years. And it means a lot of different things to different people. I think John Green came up with a great definition. I don't know the exact quote, but it is something about like being unironically enthusiastic about stuff. That stuff could be sci-fi or computers or role-playing games, all kinds of crazy things that people can be nerds for these days. I think that nerd culture has gotten so crazy that people are going to start calling themselves like, I'm a nerd for the Steelers. I'm a real nerd for the NBA. I know there's still lots of people who don't consider themselves nerds out there. I guess I just feel surrounded. Maybe a lot of people aren't, but that's just me. And while there are so many things that I am a fan of, that I am a nerd for, I feel like in some ways I have failed as a nerd. There are just so many things and there's just not enough time in the day to be a fan and nerd for everything. But there are some things I feel like personally, in ways I have failed. And maybe this should be called my nerd bucket list and not 10 nerd fails. But, you know, these are just things. Because some of these things, I'm never going to get into them. But I'm going to start with number one on my list today is Buffy. I feel like I have failed as a nerd because I just haven't been able to get into Buffy. I kind of missed the start of that. I think it was started when I was in college, and the only thing I used to tape on my VCR really was soap operas. Back then, I had like antennas, like the old rabbit ears on my TV. Back then, I didn't have cable, so it was really just terrible quality anyway. And I never got into it after, even though it's streaming. I did try to watch a few episodes and I just didn't get into it. And I really want to sit down and try, because I do love all other things Whedon, like his movies and Firefly, but I just haven't been able to get into Buffy. I don't know why, but I just haven't. Number two on my list is a book, and I think it's also a movie. This is how I'm feeling. It is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. I have never read it. I don't know anything about it other than it's like this thing, like even back in college too, people were talking about it. I know the answer is 42, but that's about it. It's one of those books I keep meaning to read, and I never get around to it. And I know it's a huge nerd staple, and I just never gotten around to it. Number three on my list is one of those things like I feel like I'm going to get kicked out of Comic-Con sometimes because I don't know enough about anime. I just see all these cool costumes and everything and all this cool merch, and I have no idea what it's about. I did recently binge watch and absolutely fall in love with Fairy Tail, and that's about it. I tried watching a few other series, and nothing really spoke to me the way Fairy Tail did. I absolutely love those characters, and I'm so bummed that it just ended, and I don't know what's happening next. I keep reading things that there might be more. I don't know, but yeah, I just haven't been able to get into it. I feel like people who are a couple of years younger than me really started getting into it, like with the whole Pokemon and Sailor Moon. I've never seen Sailor Moon. It kind of happened after, like my younger cousins were more into that than I ever was. And I've always wanted to try, but like I said, Fairy Tail I think is awesome. But I just, like I said, I feel like if I tell anyone, they're going to kick me out of the con. Because I just don't get it. I just don't know anything about it. Number four on my list, I feel like a bit of a failure because I'm not that much of a gamer. I never had like my own gaming system when I was a kid. It was very much like, these are for boys. Like we didn't really go to a lot of arcades or anything like that. I mean, once in a while. I never really got good at playing video games, so when I do play them, I like really easy games like Guitar Hero and Tetris, and I play Tsum Tsums a lot, but, and there's so many cool games that I think they look so awesome, and all the World of Warcraft kind of stuff, and just so many cool things, but I don't have like good motor skills when I'm playing either. Like I spend hours and hours agonizing trying to get like one character to jump to one place. It's really sad, you guys. And I have like all these video games that I've bought over the years that I've never even played, like I think I have a Lego Star Wars or Harry Potter somewhere that's still in plastic. It's so sad. And I'm looking at my Wii console over there, my Wii U, and it's so dusty. And I love playing, but I just never have committed to it. I always wanted a Game Boy when I was a kid so that I could play Tetris. And yeah, that's about it. I spent a lot of time growing up watching my brother play video games, and Yeah, but me personally, fail. 5 on my list, something, this is definitely a bucket list item, but a fail. I've never ever played any kind of like role playing Dungeons and Dragons or anything like that. I've always wanted to, but I don't know. I guess I never had enough friends who were into it to get something together. And yeah, it's really sad when you're jealous of the kids who are playing Dungeons and Dragons. Number 6 on my list is another big hole in my nerd knowledge because it's sci-fi stuff. And there's a lot I have seen and enjoy, but there's a lot of stuff I just cannot get into because I find it really creepy. I don't like creepy stuff. Anything horror. So like Aliens. I can't watch that movie. Or I watched that Prometheus. Oh my gosh, they're just too scary and creepy for me. And that's like a huge nerd culture thing, and I just cannot celebrate it because, yeah. And there's a lot of weird sci-fi things that I just find a little too creepy for me. And yeah, and that's where I feel like I have failed. Number 7 on my list, speaking of sci-fi fails, I keep meaning... That's my sister texting me. So number 7 on my list is something else I feel like I have failed as a sci-fi fan and Star Trek fan is I have never really watched Voyager. I've seen about 2 episodes. I tried getting into it on Netflix and I just got distracted by other things. And I really love Kate Mulgrew too. So I don't know why I just can't get on that. And my friend Mommy, that's like her favorite Star Trek series. Mine is usually Next Generation or Deep Space Nine, which I did watch pretty religiously when I was younger. But yeah, I really, really need to get caught up on Voyager because it's awesome. Number 8. See, I'm feeling a lot of nerd guilt about not enough sci-fi, and there's also amazing books I haven't read. Mercedes Lackey, Ursula Le Guin, R.A. Salvatore. I know that's more fantasy. There's all these writers that I know they're really awesome, and I just have not read any of their books. And I feel like I would probably like them. I'm also worried that I would like them too much, and that's also the reason why I never go down that rabbit hole. But I don't know. I keep meaning to try them out, and I have some of their books on my Goodreads list, and hopefully I'll get to some of those someday soon. Number 9 is something I consider another big fail. I mean, there's just not enough time in the world to read comic books because there's so many of them. I started The Walking Dead, and I think I got up to about volume 5. So in my Walking Dead comic book reading experience, they're still in the prison. It's so sad. I mean, there are like hundreds and hundreds of comic books in, I feel like, at this point, and I'm just so... And they're really good. The comics are so good. I watched the show, and I love it, and I really enjoy the comics. I just never, ever picked up on that again. And number 10 on my list, I consider this a pretty big nerd fail. It's a series of movies I have never really completely watched, and you guys, it is Indiana Jones. I'm really embarrassed to admit this, but long story, when I was a kid, my aunt took us, I don't remember how old I was, but whatever year it was that it came out, my aunt took us to see Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. She took me, my brother, and my sister, because in the 80s, people took kids to see inappropriate movies. So, my aunt took us. We were late getting to the movie. I remember this. It was a little theater, and we were sitting down, and it was a scene where they were eating the monkey brains, and I just started screaming. I was terrified, so scared, and so was my brother. He might not want to admit it or remember it, but he was scared too. That my aunt had to take us home, and then she went back to watch the movie with my little sister, who's 4 years younger than me, she's the hugest Indiana Jones fan. Like, she loves those movies. She owns them all. I did go see Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, and I was just like, is this what this is? No, I know it's better. I've seen bits and pieces of like Raiders of the Lost Ark and all that all over the years, but I've never sat down and watched the whole original trilogy, and I'm really quite sad about that. So some of these are definitely bucket list things for me, nerd bucket list, but other things like Aliens, I'm never going to be into Aliens. It's not going to happen. It's too creepy. But yeah, so what are the things that you haven't gotten around to yet as a nerd? I mean, there's just too much stuff. Some of it's generational. Like, I think Hitchhiker's Guide was just a little bit before me, and Sailor Moon has been after me, and Buffy, and like I said, it's all just a matter of catching up, because there are so many millions of things that I am caught up on and have been into over the years. But still, like I said, personally, I feel a little bit of a fail, or I'm embarrassed, or they're going to kick me out of Comic-Con. Let me know what your fail things are. I hope you'll subscribe and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks for being awesome. Bye! Hit Penny on the head to subscribe, and make sure you check out our other videos. Thanks for watching!